Hello, everybody, and welcome to this new AMA on GM Web3 dedicated to MultiversX. Welcome, everyone. We will wait a little bit so people can join. Um, so, first of all, I would like to thank Hatom for taking the time for coming today during this AMA. We know that they have a lot of things to do, but they really wanted to have this AMA to answer all of our questions. Um, and so, thank you very much for this. To the audience, you will be able to ask your questions in the comment, and at the end of the interview we can say my guest will answer all of your questions, and the two best ones will win $25 in USH, the new stablecoin. We'll speak about it during this interview. Before you start, please guys, don't forget to give some strength to the space by liking the post. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Twitch channel, the X, my official X account. If you are not subscribed, if you don't follow the yet, and so let's welcome my guest of the day, Ahmed, co-CEO and COO of Hatom Protocol. Hello, Ahmed. Welcome. How are you?
Doing good. How about you? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thank you very much. Really happy to receive you today. We organized this AMA a few weeks ago. We didn't know how USH launch will happen, so it was a risk to schedule this AMA just a few hours after. Thank you for taking the time. I'm sure that you worked all night long. I don't know, you'll tell us, but you really wanted to have this AMA with me and with the community. So thank you again for this. You guys can, of course, comment in the comments. Arno, which hoodie are you talking about? Uh, is it mine or maybe Ahmed once? Is it a Hatom one that you have or no?
Well, I don't have like the Hatom logo on it, but will be added soon, actually.
Okay, mine is a Nike. So yeah, in Web3, hoodie is the new suit. That's what I
Okay.
used to say. Okay, Arno. So just to precise to the community, it's very important. Questions were not sent in advance. So, Ahmed, you don't know what are my questions. The
Not at all.
community can ask anything that they want. This is how I see AMA. Ask me anything. So we will speak about everything around Hatom, USH, and we'll try to understand everything because transparency and clearness are very important in Web3, especially in DeFi. I think you agree with this. So if you are ready, Ahmed, let's start. Maybe for those who maybe don't know you already, we received you many times before on GM Web3, but for the AMA, it's maybe the first time, maybe a second. I don't know, but anyway, can you briefly maybe introduce yourself? Who are you? What have you done before Hatom, so we can know you a little better?
Sure. So, should I go with the long or the short version,
No,
actually?
short version, short.
All right. So, yeah, like actually, I'm the CEO of Hatom, CEO of another company too, Soul. In terms of my background, I have a business administration background, a master in finance. Always been like an entrepreneur since I was young. Tried to do like multiple, I would say, like profitable, like small businesses when I was like at 14, and yeah, always like this basically. So, like, I briefly worked as a financial analyst. After that, I quickly transitioned to managing several businesses, mostly like in the real estate and the educational sector. I've always been like quite versatile in what I've been doing, because like what I loved most was like not the industry where I was working, but like the most important thing for me is the fact that I really liked like the entire process behind running a company, identifying problems, setting some goals, and trying to execute everything that is required to be able to build like something successful and profitable. So yeah, I would say that all along the road, through like my different steps, like through the different steps of my careers, I've been always involved in crypto, lived through multiple cycles, like since the beginning, started like as an investor, moved on to being a trader, came across MultiversX back in the days before they released the Mayor exchange, was an investor at the time, and I was like really impressed by what the team was building, what they achieved, but also by the metrics that you see like happened and that were like achieved actually by X exchange and the chain. So at that moment, like I took the decision to try to transition, you see, like from a simple investor to a builder, and try to help the chain like from the inside. I saw that there was like a need for builders, that there was like a need for some required, I would say, like infrastructure to be able to build a flourishing DeFi environment. This is how the idea of Hatom started, actually,
Okay.
like bring to link up with like-minded people to form a team. Yeah, the whole
Okay.
story.
Um, thank you for this introduction. Can you explain, same way in a few words, what is Hatom protocol at the moment?
Sure. So Hatom protocol started as a lending protocol at the beginning, but it rapidly transitioned, I would say, or expanded to being a DeFi ecosystem. So we took care of developing the required DeFi component for the MultiversX blockchain, kickstarting DeFi, and yeah, making sure that any missing element will be like available on chain, so it can grow as an ecosystem. So as I said, like we started as a lending protocol, we built a liquid staking solution, a bridge from BitTensor to MultiversX, a liquid staking solution for BitTensor. And lately, what we did is we built and deployed USH or USH, an over collateralized and decentralized stablecoin, and the first native one of MultiversX.
We'll deep dive on it. Yeah, it's clear. So maybe you have a few, I don't know, metrics to share to the audience in terms of TVL or maybe number of EGLD liquid staked, so we can see what's the overview of Hatom at the moment.
Sure. So I would say that in terms of metrics, what we can like already see right now. Can I share like my screen?
Um, I think it's not necessary. Just maybe
So
we
yeah,
can mention the post where you stated 2 million EGLD on liquid staking, and I don't know if you have the TVL, which is I think the two biggest metrics. I don't know if you have any others, just to give an overview of what is Atom at the moment.
sure. So when we say Hatam, we are talking about, I think like right now, just trying to double check like the actual numbers, but we
Yeah,
have
because it changed all the time, of course, especially with the launch of a USH.
they do change constantly, like with the
But we can
price.
say that you are the leader of DeFi on MultiversX. We can say that you brought DeFi on MultiversX. You Hatom, and yeah, I think I don't know if you want to share some more metrics so we can move forward. Just
Yeah,
let.
so I would say like in terms of the metrics, we exceeded like the cap of the $2 million. It got stacked or
Mhm.
supplied among our different products. After the launch of USH, we have now more than 6.8 million USH that have been minted, so nearly like 7 million USH. So in terms of adoption, things have been like super great. I would say like since the launch, we now have nearly $11 million in LPs that have been created in total. So LPs like related to USH,
Yeah.
and around like $9 million of those LPs have been stacked in the protocol of Hatom. So yeah, I would say
Okay.
that the launch of USH have been like pretty well.
We'll
Those
speak.
are
We'll speak about the lunch. We'll take the time. For the moment, I just introduce a bit for people who maybe don't know you or Hatem. So that's why I'm not talking about USH yet, but it will come. Yeah, USH was not planned in the initial roadmap. The native stablecoin was not planned. So can you explain where come this idea to launch a stablecoin? Um,
yeah. So to get back on you like really briefly about like the DeFi ecosystem on MultiversX, I would say that we have actually you see like many players on MultiversX contributing to the DeFi ecosystem. Through Hatom, what we try to do is to try to help on that front and try to take care of the modules that we see missing and that we think will play like a big role in helping the ecosystem grow. So at the beginning, we started with a lending protocol, a liquid staking solution, and rapidly, like what we noticed is that there was like a high demand for stablecoin liquidity on the chain. So whenever some liquidity was supplied on our lending protocol, there has always been people who were borrowing that instantly actually, and the yields remained like super high on both the supply and the borrow side. And no matter how this was, I would say, like promoted, no matter like the demand and the opportunities, no new liquidity was attracted, I would say, like on the money market, or it took like a lot of time to be able to attract it. So for us, like the solution was to try to have a native stablecoin, one that will not be linked, I would say, you see, like to the liquidity that people have available that they can bring, but one that will allow people to use most of the liquidity that they have available on chain, which is e-gold, use it as collateral and be able to mint the liquidity that they need to use. So I would say that this is how the idea of USH started.
okay. And in a very short way, if it's possible, what do you think USH will bring to Multiversix ecosystem? What's the plan even before you launched it? What was the main goals of this new and first native stablecoin?
Well, I would say you see like the main utility behind USH, like besides resolving liquidity issues we have, so USH will help, you see, like reduce the selling pressure that we actually have on eGold by allowing the creation of different like liquidity pairs to be formed with USH instead of eGold. And this is like the transition that Ethereum went through like past in the days. So all assets were paired like with ETH, and this created like a huge constant selling pressure on the ETH pairs, basically. But besides this, so what we want to do with USH is to create like a new store of value so that people can use that to perform like payment, to be exposed to the dollar value too. And yeah, I would say that you see like besides like resolving the problem, like USH in itself is a store of value, a stable coin that will allow people to use it as they please in the ecosystem.
Very clear. No, because I was thinking about a comment I read on X saying that USH will save MultiverseX. I think USH cannot save MultiverseX if it's supposed to be saved, by the way. But like, yeah, USH is not there for this. It's there to attract liquidity, to offer a reserve of value thing, and to reduce the selling pressure on EGLD. So that's why I wanted to ask you this question. What is USH? I mean, you studied certainly for months the different types of stablecoin, centralized one, over collateralized one, algorithmic ones, economically incentive one. So can you maybe by comparison with the other stablecoin like DAI like the UST, like the USDT. Maybe explain what is USH and what's the specificity of this specific stablecoin.
Yeah. So in terms of MultiversX, I don't think that it needs to be saved. I would say like my thoughts on this matter is that we just need you see like 10 other teams pushing like us, I would say, and we can go. You see like in an exponential way actually. And as for you see like the USH and the model like behind it, what we did through our approach is to, of course, you see like take a look at the most successful models that existed like in the past. So referring to DAI, Rotoken to LUSD and so on. And for us to try to implement what we believe is the most complete and the most secure like implementation. So we got like inspired from what worked, I would say, like from the different models, the ones that withstood the test of time, and we added our own touch into like those models to have what we believe like the most complete in integration actually. So if we compare, for example, like the launch of USH with the launch of other stable coins like DAI, for example, or the whole token of Aave, we would say that, or we can see that we had like a better launch, like in terms of stability, because like for those assets, they remained, you see, like depegged for a very long time at the beginning, and the amount with which like the depegged was super volatile and quite high. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you for this. Can you remind us? I say remind because Arno, our dear Arno, told us about this on GM Web3 several times. But for the audience, can you, yeah, remind us what are the two or more ways to mint the USH?
Sure. So there are like two ways that users are able to mint like USH with. So the first one is through the isolated pools. So there you can only use eGold, SE Gold, Raptao, or stacked Raptao to be able to mint like USH at a 0% interest rate. And what is important to like take into consideration is if you supply like your SE Gold, for example, it is converted to eGold on that protocol. So to recap, you are able to use eGold as collateral to be able to mint USH 0% interest rate. Then we have the integration in the lending protocol. So there you will be able to use all the remaining assets and the ones that are like integrated there. So such as MEX, UTK, USDC, USDT, BTC wrapped it to be able to mint USH, but this time at a fixed interest rate depending on the collateral. So those are like the two different ways that you are able to mint like USH with.
Okay, very clear. And I, of course, welcome everyone on GM Web3 MultiversX every Wednesday in the morning. And yeah, on this, we regularly speak about different topic and especially, of course, Hatom and Arno is always answering all of your questions about the use of the Hatom protocol and so, of course, the USH mint process. Let's speak about the security mechanisms because, of course, this is something that is very important when we speak about stablecoins, especially after the Luna crash. We can call it like this. So, can you tell us what are the mechanisms that ensure the peg between one USH and $1?
Well, I would start to say by saying that USH doesn't have anything like in common with UST of Luna. So like for UST, it was like an algorithmic stablecoin based on the minting and burning of two different like assets. On our case, we are more close or similar like to DAI or the whole token or LUSD, for example. So an over collateralized stablecoin backed by the collateral that has been supplied on the different pools. So in terms of
Security mechanisms.
yes, in terms
No,
of
no,
the
no,
peg,
sorry, I thought you forgot the question. It's okay, it's
like,
okay.
I think, like how I will like start with. So first, like we can start with the because there are like multiple measures that are like put in place. So there are like what we call the soft peg protection mechanism. So it includes, for example, the fact that arbitrageurs will be able to always rebalance or between like the price of USH among the different LPs that have been created for it. And this is something that we really like worked on to make sure that USH is stable and secure, or let's say like strong in terms of liquidity, like from day one. So we made sure that we had big LPs created with the biggest like pairs on the ecosystem too. We have another like soft protection, peg protection mechanism at the level of the lending protocol and the isolated pool themselves. So USH is always considered at $1, even if it might be like trading at a different value on DEXs, which means that if you see like USH trading below $1, it will always be profitable for anyone having a debt in the lending protocol or in the isolated pool to buy USH from the open market and then to use that same USH to repair the debt. So for $100, for example, you will be able to buy $102 of USH, allowing you to repay your debt at a lower price and making like some profit during like the same process. And besides this, there are multiple, I would say, like opportunities to perform some complex DeFi strategies. There are also like players who understand how the protocol works and understand the fact that we can always, or USH can always, and will always be able to get pegged. You see, like through $1 to the hard peg mechanism. So those users, what they can do is whenever they see USH depegging, they just like buy it because they know that it is like backed with real collateral, and they will just wait for its value to go back to $1 to be able to resell that USH, basically. So those are like all the mechanisms related to the soft peg protection. Then there is like the hard peg protection and the mechanism that ensures that USH will always regain like peg no matter what happens. So when USH like depegs below a certain threshold, what happens is that like redemptions gets triggered and becomes available. What we are calling a redemption is, I would say, like a mechanism similar to liquidations, with the like, but the main difference is that during this process, people supplying liquidity will not lose a portion of their collateral. Like they will not have a liquidation penalty, basically. What happens during this process is that people who are redeeming are able or need to buy USH from the open market, pushing the price upward. And in exchange of that action, they are able to take a portion of the equal supplied in the isolated pool as a reward, basically. And a portion of the profit that they make through arbitrage is actually like split between them and between the people who got redeemed. So through this process, we are guaranteeing that no matter what, if USH goes below $1 up to a certain threshold that you are defining, redemptions will take place and we will always be able to regain the price of $1, basically.
And
So
this
yeah.
threshold is manually configured, monitored. Yeah.
Exactly, yes. So similar to any parameter on the protocol, like we need to set what will be like the level or the parameter that will be defined for this threshold, and then like continue like monitoring based on how USH is performing. So something that we did actually like during the launch is that at the beginning, like redemptions.
We'll speak about the lunch after, if you don't
All right,
mind. But
sure.
for the moment, I really want to have the like introduction of USH, but we will have a big part, and we'll have time to explain and to try to understand what happened and what's happening. Yeah, at the moment around the USH. So don't worry. It's planned. Another question about the security. Can you tell us the means that you have implemented for the USH audits? I know they are massive, and yeah, I think it's important also for the community to know how you invested in this part.
Sure. So what was the question at the beginning? You want?
The audit. So
Yeah,
what's the means? I don't know, like the investment, the companies, the how many audits and so on.
understood. So we did two audits that were like already completed and two others that are like still ongoing, actually. So we audited like USH with both Astra Horizon and Arda. To be honest with you, like what I can share around Arda is that they are like one of the best like audit firms with whom we worked. up to now, and we work like with a lot of firms. And the particularity of this firm is that they are like really familiar with MultiversX. So this allows them, you see, like besides the work that's performed by all auditors, to be like even more implicated because they are aware of all the latest like updates, all the latest like pushes, and the current like state of the
We can
chain.
mention, sorry to interrupt, but we can mention that the founder of Arda is Lucas, who is the former lead at X Exchange, and he's, yeah, definitely the reference in terms of audit on Multiversix at the moment. If maybe
Exactly.
people don't know them.
Yeah, like I do recommend you see like all project on the chain to at least you see like try to reach out to them and when needed to work with them actually. But besides this, we are also you see like have an ongoing audit with both like runtime verification and certic about like or let's say around the USH module. So for us, like the security aspect is really important, and we never launch you see like any product actually before making sure that we have you see like, besides our internal audits, multiple like external auditors spend like a lot of time reviewing like the logic, the business logic too, and yeah, making sure that everything is set for the launch. Because here like what is important to keep in mind is that we are like managing a protocol with hundreds of millions of dollars of liquidity, and there is like a huge responsibility
Yeah.
behind it. So we can like just advance deploy like anything without making sure that it is secure.
Before we deep dive to the launch of the USH, and of course, I remind everyone you guys can ask any questions you have in the comment section, and we will ask them to Ahmed just after. I have a maybe more personal question for you, Ahmed. In the run up to the USH launch, we saw on Twitter some information, some speculation, some accusation from XOXNO's founder Mihai, and it created discussions on Twitter. So we will not go back to the accusation, to the thing, because we spoke about it already many times before. But in a personal way, how did you personally experience this? This period, because you were building USH with all, I think, all the problems, all the issues, all the guys that you need to manage and so on, and you have this thing on X, and maybe we can mention that you are not often on Twitter. You don't post often. How did you live this period? Yeah.
So yeah, like pretty normally, I would say like we already had such issues like in the past, and I would say that it's part of the game. So like on our side, like I wish him good luck, and yeah, I would say that I don't have like anything else to add. You see, like on our side during that period, we had like a huge responsibility, making making sure that everything like was set for the launch and so on. So we were like pretty busy during like all.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so let's go to the launch of USH, um, which has had a few setbacks on the MultiversX blockchain. Um, so let's just, for the audience, remember that the event are only a few hours ago. So maybe more information will be shared in the coming, I don't know, hours or days with a full debrief from the foundation or the core team members, or maybe perhaps from you, because you are writing some regular feedback, regular post on Twitter to explain what's happening around the USH launch. And go, guys, of course, go follow the X account of Hatom if you want to know what's happening. You can also follow the different ambassadors like Fudres, Arno, Davy, GLD, and many more who are writing posts to explain what's happening every I don't know 3 or 4 hours. But like I wanted to understand what happened And I think there are two parts. There are the MultiversX part, and there is the Hatom part. So if you agree, let's start with the MultiversX part. Uh, can you explain? I wish we had someone from MultiversX to explain, but I'm sure that you followed what happened on the blockchain. So can you answer? Can you explain simply so it's clear for everyone what happened on MultiversX and why it looked congested?
Sure. So I would say it was like there were like multiple circumstances that took place, you see, like at the same time and along with the launch, and this resulted, I would say, you see, like in the congestion during that period. So on multiverse 6 we have some MEV protection like mechanism. So bots, I would say, or arbitrageurs are not able to perform like MEV similar to ETH. So they can't give like tips to have like their transactions go first. So what they do is they are like in a way incentivized to spam transactions to try to hit like the first one basically. And during like the launch, there were like some bots who were like trying to perform like arbitrage. And the coincidence here, or the issue that made things, you see, like even more like slow in a way, is the fact that those bots were not like configured like in a good way. So they were trying to interact with a pool that was not active for trading. And the result on that is that they were, you see, like population a lot of transactions inside the main pool. And yeah, this resulted in a
So
in a big
they wanted to arbitrate with pools before they were a pawn.
well, with one specific pool, like in their route they were like like trying to interact with a pool that was not like active for trading.
Okay.
This resulted in a way in creating, you see, like this traffic and delaying the transaction of other users. So I would say like this is one part. Like the other part is the fact that, for example, in our app on X Portal 2, we are not like we don't have like the possibility, or we are not like integrating the possibility to allow users uh, to choose, let's say, the speed of transaction that they want to have. So what this caused in a way is that for users, their transactions were sent like using a certain amount of gas, while the arbitrageurs or the bots were using a higher amount, which put, I would say, you see, like their transactions to be included in the block before the one of the users. So yeah, if we try to avoid, I would say, you see, like this part two, we can maybe like guarantee that the user's transactions would fall, you see, like in the same block with the transaction of other arbitrageurs, if they are ready, you see, like to pay some high gas fees. But even though they will need to pay for, like they will need to wait, sorry, for all transactions, you see, like to go through in a pretty like random way. But yeah, if this problem didn't like exit this interaction with a pool that was not like activated, things might have been a bit slow. But yeah, like we might have avoided this issue. So I would say like there are some optimizations that can be made, you see, like on both sides. And uh, everyone is already like working on the different like fronts on trying to optimize that.
Yeah, very clear. So it's clear about the two mechanisms that created this congestion. What do you think MultiversX should work on, maybe to prevent this situation again? And after we'll speak about the Hatom part, if you agree.
Yes, of course. So what I can say is that like the MultiversX team, Lucian, all the team, like also like the team of X Exchange, were like pretty quick in terms of reactivity. As soon as they detected it, they tried like to resolve this to make sure that the launch was able to continue in a pretty like smooth way. And I think that Lucian like already shared a tweet where he shared like a couple of ideas. So like it is a pretty good one, and they already like started working on some implementations of on how like they can prevent, you see, like those attacks basically like by bots, and how they can like penalize them, or also like penalize transactions that are using, you see, like way much gas fees that than what they need actually. So multiple initiatives like have already been taken by the multiverse team, and yeah, like really love the reactivity on that front.
Okay, thank you. About the Hatom part, I saw in some comments, but you will tell me if it's true or not, that there was some front end and microservice problem on the Hatom website that was displaying failed transaction. And when you go to the Explorer, you actually see that the transaction is okay. So is it first? Is it true? And second, so what are you doing and what are you going to do to resolve this issue?
Sure. So yeah, no, like it was true. Like some transactions were actually like displaying that they were like failing. So most of the issues came from the fact that we had a lot of traffic and the chain like was congested, and the fact that a lot of transactions were remaining like in a pending state. So from our side, like what we already started to do is to try to review how everything like is processed and make sure that we are like also basically like scaling our front end too, and trying to avoid that this can happen again. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ahmed. Let's speak about the peg, depeg, and repeg. So first, can you remind us what are the various stages involved in building the USH liquidity? First,
Sure. So what do you mean, like in terms
I
of
mean,
building
yeah,
in
because
general?
just so everyone can understand that first you yes, you asked for people from MultiversX, after the community, so the different stages to build the liquidity, the initial liquidity of a USH.
So for us, what we needed to make sure, like during the launch, is that we build USH, make sure that is like it is like pretty big. You see, like from the beginning, and then try to grow from there. So what it required is to make sure that we have like enough LPs that will be able to sustain the high activity that we were like anticipating. So we were like seeing unprecedented traffic actually like during the launch. So in among our initiative was to try to discuss with partners and make sure that we have multiple projects being involved, and also like creating some liquidity pools with USH along the one that they already hold with eGold, which will like straighten even more the liquidity of USH. So we were able to have LPs with USH eGold, an LP with MEX, with Foxy, with UTK, with Ash, HEM, with Kowatu from day one. This allowed us actually to absorb a lot of selling pressure on Ash, but also like create a pretty healthy ecosystem like from the first hour of deploying USH.
Okay. So liquidity pools were created with the assets you mentioned: GLD, USDC, MEX, USDT, HTM, Foxy, UTK, ASH. Currently, the USH is trading around $0.7 after
Right?
touching 0.92. So, can you
Not zero,
explain
not 0.7, right?
7? Oh, okay.
Okay. No,
Um,
USH. You refer to USH, right?
yeah, USH. Sorry, did I say
I
something
said
else?
no, like 0.97, right? This is what you meant.
0.97. Yes, I said what? 0.7?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, thank you for correcting. So yeah, so can you explain why, just a simple question, why USH is not worth $1? What happened, what's happening, and yeah, is it a problem? That's the main question. Is it
All right.
serious?
Sure. So let's say that the approach that we followed like was intentional. You see, like once you deploy such a big ecosystem along with those LPs and all the implementation, like all the modules that we did, it needs time to be like integrated inside the ecosystem to work in line with the different actors, and also for the different like actors inside the ecosystem to adapt to the new tools that we are offering them, to the new opportunities that exist with this new deployment. And yeah, like for us, the best approach to have this launch is to go through a gradual process. So first, we wanted to deploy USH like allow the maintain, create the LPs, and don't activate the redemption mechanism because volatility will be high. Like because of the fact that a lot of users will be aiming to trade USH, and there will be like users who will want to sell it, even if they're like incurring maybe like a 3, 4, or 5% slippage, because they don't care. They just want to try it out to create like LPs to long equal, for example, or long other assets. And what this will create is an unbalanced ecosystem, like at first at the beginning. At that same moment, we will have like all the different arbitrageurs who will start like their activity and try to rebalance between the different LPs, making sure that the USH price is pretty much equal and always like balanced between the different like liquidity pool that will be like existing. We will have like other players who will establish some complex strategies based around USH, aiming to make like some profit around it. So for us, what we wanted to do is to give the ecosystem enough time to be able to adapt to this launch, to have like everyone perform their activity for the volume to stabilize too, before we start like implementing some more severe and aggressive peg protection mechanism. And here like referring to also you see like to the redemptions basically. So for users, we needed them to be like educated to understand what was happening and how they can work and interact with USH. So a lot of users like didn't understand that. All right, they minted USH. They saw that USH was trading below $1, but they didn't understand the opportunities that they had of buying USH and maybe like trying to repay a portion of their loan to be able to make some arbitrage opportunities. So once everything has been settled, we introduced like redemptions at a price of $0.95 at the beginning. So not an aggressive one, to announce to the community that this is like the parameter that has been set, to leave them like enough time to accommodate to it and to get ready, basically. And what we did like today is that we announced that the redemption mechanism, or like the redemption parameter, the factor, will get increased gradually until reaching 0.98. And at that moment, we'll like start monitoring the activity on chain and take like even more severe approach if we judge needed. So for the peg protection mechanism, whenever it is triggered, a redeemer would have like the possibility to bring back the price of USH up to $1 or close to it, even if it was like depegging at 0.97, for example. Like he doesn't like bring it only above 0.97, but he has like the possibility to bring it like to 1, basically. So yeah, like this is the reasoning behind the launch and why we decided to take like this approach. Like this was made on purpose, and the goal was to let the ecosystem adapt to the launch and to the many modules that we were launching.
So everything was expected in terms of price. You were expecting that a few hours after the launch, it would be 0.97. I think. Did you have some hypothesis? So is it perfectly what you expected or not?
Well, to be honest with you, like it went better than our expectations actually. Because if you compare it with the launch of the DAI token, with the O token, with LUSD, those tokens like they have seen a really high volatility like from day one. You see, like they traded even below $0.9, and this state like remained for multiple days. If you compare it with the launch of USH, you can see that even without the redemption mechanism, like the hard one that was activated, our price like never felt below like 0.95, which means that it was like pretty stable, the liquidity was good, and even for the community. So like they went, you see, like they got like adapted pretty much to it. And for the raw token, I'm sorry, like for example, it was like depegged for months, actually like not even a couple of hours or days. Like it remained depegged like for months until they introduced a staking feature that pushed people to basically like buy it, to stake it, and which helped them in a way try to get closer to the peg or to $1.
Okay, thank you very much, Ahmed, for your answers to my question for the moment. We will, in a few seconds, start with the question from the audience. No, you know what we'll do right now? And if I have time, I will ask you my last ones, but the audience and community first. So I picked some questions for you. First of all, is about a question that I saw several times on X, and I think is important. What if um, the collateral crashes fast? I don't know, like a black swan or something. So, what if the EGLD or Tau or the other crypto they all crash fast? What will happen to USH?
So similar to what happened maybe like a couple of weeks ago, or about like a month or something, right? So you've seen like how the protocol reacted to it, and the fact that we didn't generate like any bad debt, even though we had like some unprecedented, I would say, like circumstances. So USH works exactly the same. So if the price of the collateral decreases in a really like fast pace, liquidation will take place, similar how they take place on the lending protocol. Um, yeah, so I would say that nothing will happen. Everything will go like pretty smoothly. Like liquidations will take place, and yeah,
Okay.
USH will be good.
Okay. Another question is, if HTM demand lags, how do you prevent oversupply and over leverage in Booster V2 while maintaining sustainable utility?
So, what do you mean by over supply or over leverage?
That's the good question. It's the question that is written like this. So if the question is not understandable, I ask it's Xman to rewrite the question. But yeah, to be honest, I don't exactly
I can
understand.
no
Maybe
like
you try to
yeah,
understand.
no sure. Like I just wanted to make sure that I get it right to give like the proper answer. But for us, I would say like through the Booster V2, what we try to implement is to link the HEM token directly with the revenue that is being generated by the protocol from the different modules. And with the launch of USH, we increased our revenue generation by a lot, actually, through the isolated pools and through the USH on the lending protocols. So all that revenue will be constantly used to buy HEM tokens from the open market and redistribute them, but only to token holders. So if we lack participation, for example, on the booster, it means that the yields will be like quite high and people like will be incentivized to buy HEM and to participate. So for sure, we'll be able to attract new users, new holders, new liquidity in the protocol too, because you can't only stake HEM tokens and earn yields, but you also need to be a participant in terms of liquidity provision, which means that the more people participate to earn more, the more revenue we generate, and the more this flywheel cycle like keeps on growing, basically. So yeah, as long as the protocol is generating revenue and having liquidity, it will be great, and the demand will always come for the token. And we also have like quite some interesting, exciting things that we are preparing for the next products too. So yeah, but I can keep this for later.
You will come back definitely. Next question. Yeah, it will be related to what you just said. What is the next major update of Hatom protocol after they manage to make the three pillars of the protocol? So DeFi, lending, borrowing, liquid staking, and now the stable coin. And do you plan to expand to other networks such as Cardano? We all spoke about it these last days, being like a multi-chain protocol. Is it something that you're thinking about or not at all?
So yeah, like I can expand on both. First, like next big thing for Hatam, there is like a product on which we've been working. Like we had the idea for a while, and we had like a full team performing like an R&D phase since I would say like middle beginning of December. And you see,
It's the
like I
first
think
thing or something else?
I'm sorry, it's
Is it the pulse or proxy thing or something else?
yes, it is like the USH proxy or what we were like calling before like Pulse. And I think that things from now will go like in a pretty like exponential way. You see, like for Hatam and for USH like proxy, I honestly believe that it can be a revolutionary product, and it will change everything. You see, like for Hatom, because like right now, to give you more details about the problem that you are trying to solve, you take a look at any lending protocol, Hatom included. So talking about like Aave, like any lending protocol basically, and you take a look at the money markets, what you will see is that the money market with the LSD tokens, so STETH, for example, or SE Gold, are one of the biggest money market, but they are also the ones that are generating the less revenue. When I say like generating the less revenue, like what I mean by that is that people are not borrowing those assets. So they're not paying any borrow APY for those. And the protocol might have, you see, like billions of dollars of liquidity, but not generating like anything on it. It's just like stuck there, used as collateral to be able to take out loans. So with USH proxy, we are trying to define a way to be able to use those assets in a delta neutral strategy to be able to generate like additional yields for users who opt to perform this strategy. So the potential of this approach is quite crazy, actually, because we are talking about billions of assets that could generate like yields of 10, 20% in a pretty like safe way for users, while allowing them to be able to take out loans from the lending protocol. So
Okay,
for
we'll
us,
we'll speak about this product or feature in another AMA or interview, because I truly believe this is something very interesting. Just in my opinion, I prefer Pulse than Proxy, but I say that with my friend Arno about the name, but yeah, let's talk about it later. But I think it'd be very interesting to leverage this unused liquidity in DeFi. Next
like
question.
for the second part, like sorry to interrupt, like for the
Yeah,
second part of the question. So once we complete like you see like the development of this product, this is when our cross-chain expansion will start. Because just like imagine the situation that will happen, we will have like other protocols who are offering a yield of maybe like 0.01% for those assets, and then you will have Hatom on the other side who has like the potential to share with you or to offer you like a yield of 10 to 20%, for example, for supplying your STETH and then allowing you at the same time to be able to take out loans in the same manner that you were doing in the previous protocols. So I think that this will be like a game changer and put like Hatom in a position where we could deploy our protocol on any chain we want and actually like be able to compete with any actual lending protocols just through the utility and the benefits that we'll be like offering to users. And of course, like HCM will still remain the token governing the protocol along with the booster V2, and all the revenue that will be generating will be converted to HCM, redistributed to token holders. And at that moment, we are talking about like potential billions of dollars that could be like supplied among the different money markets. So yeah, this is what's coming next for
so
Hatom.
yeah, cross chain is not just a word; it's a whole strategy. And going to other chain with no like innovative and useful product is completely useless. I agree with you definitely. Next question is about X Money that recently announced the issuance of a new stable coin. So is it something that you look closely with your very new stable coin, or you think it's completely different, a centralized stable coin like the euro and dollar and RON stable coin that is planned by X Money?
So I would say that we don't compete. You see, like with those stable coins, I think that they are a great addition. I'm super happy for them. Like I have some news that I can't share, unfortunately, about that. But yeah, like to be honest with you, I think that this is like something great. They are like MiCAR compliant, and you see like the whole structure. You see like they will be like complementary and allow for more use cases.
Okay. Next question is about MultiversX. It's a pretty tough question, but we said that we'll ask any question. So, do you still have confidence in the MultiversX infrastructure ecosystem after the setback of yesterday concerning the congesting issue?
Yes, of course. It wasn't, you see, like an issue like related to the chain, but just something that could be, I would say, like optimized and in a pretty easy manner. It's not like a big issue. And if we didn't trust, you see, like in the tech and what the team was doing, we wouldn't be building and pushing like this hard on our side. So, yeah, believing in MultiversX more than ever, actually, because I feel the momentum like compounding, and yeah, things are just like progressing. So it's only growth from now on.
Thank you very much. Last question. The rewards will remain high with the bigger TVL, like 10x more, for example.
So what we had is a bootstrapping of rewards like at the beginning, but for the rewards, they will like always remain high, even if we had like more TVL. So the logic behind this is to be able to create an LP, you need to mint USH, either through the isolated pool or through the lending protocol. When you mint USH, you are actually allowing the protocol to generate revenue. So that revenue is being redistributed to LP providers on the staking module. So the more USDT is minted, the more revenue we generate. And even if all those users decide to create like LPs, we will still be able to sustain the same yields that we were like offering them at the beginning. And what is like really important to keep in mind here is that users are actually like earning like more yields. So when they create an LP, they are earning the trading fees and the farm fees from either like X Exchange and Aswap, who are like right now, you see like they were like, we can take a look like pretty quickly just to make sure that I give like not like some false numbers.
Let's share for, because it's the last question. So I think it can be interesting to share the screen about the metrics of
Sure.
Hatom. Give me
Can
a
you see
minute. I lost the link.
like
Now I got it. I got it. I will share my screen, and people, yeah, can see. It's here. Okay, so as you can see in this website, feel free to guide me. You can see the total collateral. You can see the total USH minted, so the circulating supply, 6.83 million. And here you can see the activity of the lending, of the mint, different ways, like the lending, the isolated pools, and the liquidity pools facilitators also. I don't know if you want to comment some of these digits.
So here, what you will be able to do is to check, you see like the state of the different facilitators that are allowing like the minting of USH, see how much collateral has been supplied, basically to protect like each USH that has been minted, what are the assets that are like backing them, what is the collateral ratio, the pool share that those like each facilitator represent, yeah, check like constant metrics about USH. And for the yields, like I just shared with you, like here on the chat, a link that you can go to for
Sure,
execution.
I will. Give me a minute.
Take your time.
Like this.
Exactly. So if you scroll down
Okay.
even more, like here, like tokens, if you go like
Pools.
yes, here like pools, like you can write like on the search bar USH on the one at the top.
Oh,
This
on,
one.
this one.
Here, like no, scroll down. Sorry, you can
Oh,
scroll first. You have
pool.
like here, like
Here.
you see
Yes.
exactly. So here, like you can see the yields that on the site, the total site, like the APRs, the potential one that are like this, like distributed on each of the pools. So what is like really important to understand is that in addition to the yields that you are earning on the staking module, you are earning the yields that X Exchange is distributing through the LP, which means like the trading fees, like the fee generated through the different, like the volume of the LP, and then the farm fees. So energy or dual farm fees and so on, depending on the LP, basically. So
Mm,
right now you can see that, for example, for USH equal, you can earn an APR of 24.5% actually. And in addition, like just like the trading fees are 17.92.
mm,
So it's like pretty high. And in addition to that, you will earn like a portion of the revenue of Hatom through the staking module. So the synergies between the two product is actually
mm.
quite insane. And the revenue that users will be able to generate is super huge. And like we are really sorry for that, because in our front end, we didn't display the rewards that you can generate through the LP itself, a fixed exchange. But this is something that we're trying to push like for today, which means that the yield that users are generating on the staking module on Hatom are even higher than what we are displaying, because we didn't display the yields of the pool itself.
Okay. Thank you very much. I will just share the link, the first one that we used, and I will share the second one that we used on the comment. Thank you very much, Ahmed. I think we answered all the questions of the community, and we have some surprised guests